rise of e-commerce. So I'll skip down to, with the rise of e-commerce and fulfillment centers, personal property investments attached to logistics projects have risen significantly, due in large part to the cost of automation and cutting-edge warehouse management systems. Conversely, this often leads to decreased numbers of jobs created. Are you seeing communities recalibrate their incentive calculations to address this operational evolution?
Well, I can say that I think they should. I think two things. I think they need to reward the investment, at least sales tax credits for the equipment that they have to purchase, right? And you might want to consider where some states have done it, that you allow that to be an ongoing process so that as they need to upgrade that technology in 3 to 5 years, they can also get sales tax credits on the new stuff that they put back in the building. The people that don't do that for data centers really do have a disadvantage. Now, we're not talking about data centers here. Normally, we're talking about distribution, but the same thing applies to a distribution center as well, because that technology will morph. The second question is, it's a big investment, but I'm not so sure there are going to be fewer people in the building, because I think what the companies are looking for is they're looking for more efficiency to get more throughput through the building. Therefore, that building can service a larger physical area of the country, or a greater population at least, with even the same number of people in it, but more product can physically go through the building. So it's not necessarily going to be fewer people, but and the people that they actually employ in the building, there's going to be a bunch of them that are going to be involved in IT and maintenance, which are going to be very high-paying jobs. So it's going to probably even raise the average cost, average level of the wage rate within the building as well. So there's a couple of good points to that. So it's not always just negative, in my opinion.
Just one point I would make, as well as regarding the labor that my colleagues had touched on. Since that is the number one thing we get asked usually when we're dealing with a company from out of town that's maybe coming into the Metroplex for the first time, and they want to know all about the labor, and as has been suggested too, with more automation, depending on the operation, there may or may not be fewer employees, which but likely will be offset somewhat by an investment, a heavier investment in capital equipment because of the automation that's going to be required. But I think as EDC professionals out there, and looking at your respective areas and looking at your strengths that you have to offer, particularly in the labor area, which is certainly obviously first on the list, looking at having a program with your trade schools or your local universities or whatever that offers training and where you can really offer a skilled workforce, because the way the market is going, I mean, there's going to be a heavier need for skilled workers, and I think a company that's looking is going to be really weighing those kinds of things as to what kind of programs are available there that can provide them, a supply of workers, and that extends into the high schools as well as, because not everybody is necessarily in a community is going to college, but being able to offer programs that will provide, workers for, this type of industry that may be coming in. And it's really across all lines of either manufacturing or in distribution.
And this is, I took from an article out of the SIR report. And in order of importance, in looking at locating facilities, and I know you've probably all seen these lists, still we're blue in the face. This is labor workforce, number one, infrastructure, number two, site readiness, customer proximity, taxes, regulatory environment, supply chain, industry cluster, incentives, political, economic stability, and community support. And I don't think it's an accident incentives is third from the bottom. And I know incentives is a hot topic, and I know that this is Mr. Feemster's. He is the expert at this table on that. But I can tell you, when we're out looking for a facility, that's not even a part of the discussion. It's usually we're looking for a facility that's close by to a customer, to a manufacturing operation, to rail, to whatever. And the incentives is almost the last thing they even bring up that we talk about. Now, Tommy's business is a little different. He is very much, I think, it's fair to say, very localized with regard to, he does a lot of site, land and development, involved in development. I'm kind of scattered all over a little bit, and I think that, so when we're looking at facilities in other markets, it's really, that does not, to answer your question, that really is it's really more about, as I said, the labor and about the site readiness, the facilities, the infrastructure. Those are the really biggest issues. Parking is something that we run into on every deal. They are putting more bodies in these buildings than they've ever done. This facility we're doing right now is about 318,000 square feet. Cross-dock building, very similar to Amazon. One half of one of the truck courts is all going to be car parking. So, and this is not a manufacturing operation, but it's just, as Tim said, they're putting more and more and more bodies into these facilities. And the trailer parking, I think you've all heard that. If you've got trailer parking, that's also golden on facilities. But anyway, that's long enough.